Yo, 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 what's happening? What's happening? What's good? 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 What's good in the hood, man? The boy Young Jolt be gaming. We live right now, man. First and foremost, before we get started, make sure to follow all of my social medias at Young Jolt. Follow and subscribe to my Twitch, my YouTube, my Trovo, my Kick, at Jolt be gaming. Follow the Facebook gaming channel, Gaming with Young Jolt, man. We live, bro. We live. So yeah, if you rocking with me, man, make sure to rock with me, man. Playing some frag punk. Wanted to play some Doom, the Dark Age, but still downloading for the system. So and yeah, it's already kind of late, so I'm not necessarily trying to. I'll get started on it tomorrow night, and we're gonna have fun with it, man. I like Doom. Doom Eternal kind of sort of got me into it. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I knew about Doom, the old Doom games, and on PC and everything back in the day. I remember playing it a little bit back in the day, just a little bit, but I didn't really get into it. But Doom Eternal really, really got me into it, and I like it. But yeah, we're gonna jump into that tomorrow for sure. Pretty much, that's gonna be the live stream for tomorrow night. So yeah, stay tuned, man. Doom the Dark Ages streaming live tomorrow night. So y'all make sure to tap in with me. And we're gonna have fun, man, and we're gonna rip and tear until it is done. But tonight, man, we gonna frag and shoot on Frag Punk. New PvP game. And I'm cool with it. I like it. It's I actually personally I think I like this. This is pretty good. I don't know why. It's something about it that's good. Only thing I don't really like about it is like the movement is semi slow. Yeah, the movement is semi slow, but overall it's not bad. Not a bad game. Yeah, it's not a bad game at all. Now I know. Now I know. I know. Jill Draco, what's up, bro? Ah, Instagram, I see y'all, man. I'm live on Instagram as well. He got it. Oh my goodness. Go. Wow. Okay. Like I said, the movement is a little bit slow. The movement is a little bit slow. Wow. Now, how did he beat? Oh. 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 Wow. Go. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they were going a little crazy, man. They were going a tad bit, tad bit, a little too crazy. Free fall. Nah, come on. I try to go through the gate. That's funny. And like I said, the game is fine. It's just the movement is a little bit slow. The movement animation and everything it's a tad bit slow, and it looks like it should be like a lot faster. It definitely looks like it should be faster than what it is. I don't know why, but yeah, the character movement is a little bit slow. I can be much more understanding if the character, like, if it was a tank character. A tank character should be moving this. 6. Play 6. That person was just going crazy. What type of attachments he got going on that gun? Don't tell me this is uh like a pay to win type. Cause the way he was just firing off, yeah, the way he was just firing off, yeah, that's a little different. Hmm. TikTok, I see y'all. Elias, Adrian, I see y'all, man. What's happening? What's good? Oh my god. Oh, wait, wait. Hold up. Oh, my game just lagged? Did I just lag? I lagged. I completely lagged. Yeah, I lagged. I saw that. Oh. Oh. Uh, yo. What am I? 27. Okay. Oh, yeah. Five. we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna jump into Doom. You know what? We're gonna jump into Doom. on, come on. All right, let's get into some motherfucking Doom. Hey man, hold up. What the I guess Fortnite can go. I really need to get it external. Oh my god. Yo, TikTok, what's going on, y'all? What's happening? What's happening? Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. What we got going on, y'all? If anybody's over there, no, nobody's over there on Instagram. My live, my live. Well, Instagram's new, so yeah. Wow. Okay, update on NBA. Timberwolves advance the second consecutive Western Conference Finals. They have he has now eliminated Stephen Curry, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant over the last 5 series. Ant Man is probably the truth. That's Michael Jordan's son, y'all. That's Michael Jordan's son. Bruh, 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 bruh. TikTok, what's happening, y'all? Oh man, y'all.
Mi hermano.
My show. Word. When it comes to the hit. Hey.
Welcome everybody to the God of War 20th Anniversary Cast Panel. It is, as Jeff said, I'm Matt Sophis. I'm narrative director at Santa Monica Studio. I should get my glasses out because I'm going to need them. Basically, my job today is really just to kind of string a bunch of words together and hope that this amazingly talented group of people can basically, make it sound profound, which is kind of the formula that I've gone with for the last 10 years. So let me go ahead and bring them out. First person I want to bring out, he is the smartest man alive. And a little secret, he's also one of the kindest. As Mimir, Alistair Duncan. Next up, our Witch of the Woods, our Queen of the Valkyries, our goddess, Freya. The amazing Danielle Basutti. Yeah. Okay. Now, the next person, now he's nearly 20, but he will always be boy to me. And yes, he is getting way too damn tall. As Atreus, Sonny Suljic. So the next guy probably needs no introduction, but I'm going to anyway. He is our Norse god of war, and he is just one of the best guys. He's also, his character is someone who, you know, I am beard envious of. So, as Kratos, Christopher Judge. Over here. All right, the next man, without his incredible work, we would not have made it for 20 years. He is the OG Kratos, T.C. Carson. Next up, the goddess of wisdom herself, and also a little bit the goddess of manipulation. The divine voice behind Athena, Carol Rougier. Now, coming up next is one of the illustrious Holder brothers, our favorite Azure Vulgarian. And let's all just show some effing gratitude for Brock Robert Craighead. And finally, the other half of the Holder brothers. He is the very, very clean and very, very nice, as Sindri, Adam Harrington. Since this is a celebration not only for our franchise, but also for all the fans who've supported us for 20 years across 9 games, I just wanted to ask anybody who wants to chime in, does anyone have a memorable moment with a fan that they want to share? Like an experience either online or in person at cons, things like that?
So I went to a con and this guy came up on the Friday and he was bald-headed and I had my head shaved at the time. I talked to him, and the next day I'm sitting there and he reappears, only this time he's wearing a black bin bag up to his neck. He's got runes in ink all ballpoint pen all over his head, and he had 2 horns made from popsicle sticks sticking up. And he sat there, I think, with me. Me for about an hour while I signed things, and I think people thought that he was, you know, my pet or something. And that was one of my favorites.
A real life Mimir.
A real life Mimir.
Some of the Freya cosplay, which you have all probably seen on Instagram and Twitter, has been amazing. The fan art is incredible. Maybe the last con that I did, when one of the fans asked when there was going to be a Freya game, I liked that. But alas, just the love and the adoration, and that there's a real there's just a real mutual kinship between us, the actors who got to the pleasure and the honor of playing these characters, and the fans who really adore them. So I can't really choose one.
I'd agree with Freya or Danielle.
Little one.
Yeah, probably at the cons. I mean, I get to meet a bunch of great people. Probably say one thing on the top of my head was someone knew I liked Takis, and they brought me Takis to the Comic-Con. And so I was just snacking on them the whole time, so it kind of was good.
That's one of your most memorable moments.
Yeah. Snacks.
Dad.
You know, there's been so many that, but I've kind of just classified them into when dads and sons come up and they say that the Norse Saga changed their relationship, improved their relationship, started their relationship. Those are always my favorites. There's just so many where you see these kind of real like rough dudes and their kids who may or may not look like them. No, but I mean, they're the fathers, but they don't, you know, they're just not so rough, you know, they're whatever. And it was the Norse games that kind of was the genesis of their relationships. And so for me, those are always the best.
Right.
Are we going down the line?
Only if you
Wanna
want.
go to another
We can
question?
go to another question. Conveniently, I think the best place to start on the next questions is right at the beginning with you, TC.
Oh, shit.
So,
Damn.
so you be careful what you wish for.
I know, right? Why does your voice seem especially deep today?
So, there's
guys.
this thing that happened. No, don't touch me. I'm working. Leave me alone.
I don't know what kind of audio you guys are getting, but the stereo for me, incredible. So your portrayal of Kratos kind of defined the character for an entire generation of gamers and created a video game icon. How did you find, speaking of voices, how did you find his voice? And when did you realize God of War was going to become such a big and lasting franchise?
I'm going to answer your last question first. I realized that last month when I came to Sony.
Oh.
I had no idea that the game was what it was. I know I enjoyed my work on the game, but I didn't realize the game had such a wide reach, even doing the Comic-Cons that I do. It's kind of humbling to see something be a part of something that has affected so many people. And I forgot what the question was.
Just how'd you find that voice?
How'd I find the voice? Kratos is. Oh, wow, I'm gonna really say this shit. Okay.
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
I think they're hoping you do.
Kratos is TC 12.0. At the time, I was very angry. There were a lot of things going on that had me in a real nasty place. And Kratos allowed me to do that. He allowed me to be able to vent all of that anger. He allowed me to be able to vent all of that rage. And I think that's the thing that people resonate with because it was real. Those were real moments for me to be able to do that and be able to get that out. So it was like going to therapy, really, because I would always leave the session like, So I think it was just the rage inside of me is that voice.
That's fantastic. All right. Next, Kratos. So you have been involved in lots of different projects over the years, film, long-standing television franchise, other video games. How does working with the team at Santa Monica Studio on a character like Kratos differ from the other teams and projects you've been a part of over the years?
Well, it was interesting for me because I'd done like fairly significant amount of other stuff, and there's always a certain dynamic on set. There's number one. Well, first is the producer's director, and number one, who is sometimes one of the producers. There's the cast. There, I would say writers, but no writers ever came to set in live action, which is the truth. And then the crew. And almost from day one, there was none of that. There was no hierarchy. There was everyone treating each other with respect and talked to each other like adults and respected the work that every individual was doing. So when it came time to shoot, people would come up to Corey and have different ideas and he listened to them. And I was just watching, like, he's listening to everybody. Like, he's not looking at his watch or, you know, whoever's in charge of keeping time is not going. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I realized that I much like TC, I got this right when I was going through the same things that Kratos was. I had just quit drinking. I had just gotten two DUIs. And I want to be very honest about that in case anyone else is going through that. And I was going through counseling. And we had just started touching on what it is to be a man. And through that, I learned that it's not about squashing people, keeping people down. It's about empowering people. It is about listening to people and making them feel heard. The God of War set, the volume, was the first time I ever saw it in practice. Every morning, it looked like everybody wanted to be there, which was something really weird for me. There was no one complaining. There were, like, people were happy to be there. And it was such a collective that it really was the first place that I had ever been that was that supportive and nurturing and caring and loving. And it really changed my whole perspective on the world and what it really means to be a man. And that really happened out of war.
Love that. That's great. Now, Sonny, you did not have all the experience in the world coming onto set the first time. You started playing Atreus when you were 8. I think it was 8.
Yeah.
That was when I met you, anyway. So you've said in the past that you didn't always understand what was going on when you were younger, when you were on set. Now, how has that changed as you've kind of grown up alongside the character?
Well, first, I think I've had a good opportunity to work with such incredible people. I feel like I've learned a lot from Chris, Danielle, everyone on set. And I feel like while the character was growing up, I was just growing up with the character as well. Wait, what was the question again? Because I just heard Chris's speech and I was like, all right, I'm gonna start getting deep now.
The answer's no.
No, just how has it changed? How has like your view of it over the course of making the two games? How did it change from over time?
I mean, there was definitely a big contrast between the first one and the second one. I think I've had enough time to kind of like analyze more emotions, more feelings. And I feel like as an actor, when you're younger, you're kind of just, or at least like from my point, I was invested in the game, but I wasn't like psychologically there. So I think for the second game, Ragnarok, I got to like dive in to more of, deeper emotions, even the scenes with Fredmir and stuff. And I just felt more connected with the character. So I think over time, I got to get more comfortable and stuff. Yeah.
Great.
2018, it was hard to keep his attention for 30 seconds.
True.
So for Ragnarok, first of all, he knew all his lines. No, I mean, because he was older and more mature, but then he came with notes. Like, I was thinking, and we all literally went, So it's been great just to see the maturation process. You turned into a wonderful young man.
Thank you.
One of my favorite moments after that was when that happened. Chris came over and he said, "He's a whole new motherfucker." So, Carol,
yes,
you had a totally different experience with Athena.
yes,
In that a decade had passed since you played her in God of War 2, and then was called back into the booth to reprise the role for God of War 2018. What was it like getting that call to come back to a role you hadn't played in so long? Did you have to prepare for it differently? What was that all like?
no. I had 3 lines and I was very upset because I did them in different accents because I didn't want to leave. I love these guys so much. I did it from South London, North London, and, ancient Greece. So, yeah, it just felt part of my life anyway. And also, I think I mentioned to you, my experience of working on the game was very different to everybody else's because I worked alone. I worked alone in the booth. I never saw anybody else. I never saw a whole script. I just saw my pages and the guys behind the glass who would go quiet sometimes and you think, oh my God, they hate me. But yeah, so it was just a different experience. So coming back to that, because it was such a memorable, strong character, I think I just loved just jumping back in. And I found there was a lot of similarities with her and me. So I was very fortunate to be asked to play her in the first place. So it's still part of my life. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Head. No, Alex. So you had the unenviable task of being thrown the most amount of information to convey for players, the most ridiculously difficult Norse words to pronounce. But you were always able to make it sound really natural. How did you prepare for that and approach delivering all the stories? And then if you could ask Mimir and advice on a topic, what would you ask?
Ooh, we come to that last. How did I prepare? I I knew that you were a sadistic bastard. Yeah. You know, throw horrible, horrible things at me to say. So basically, I came in and would look at this stuff and go, okay, I'm going to say it. And in fact, the interesting thing was, the first time I would say one of these words, I would get it right. But then later on, when it came back again, I'd have forgotten how what the pronunciation was, so it would just all fall apart. So it was just repetition and sort of understanding whatever it was I was trying to say. Yeah, there was no way of preparing for it because I never knew what consonants and vowels were going to follow each other. You just tied them together however you felt. I think it was like, oh, this is going to mess with him. What was the other part?
If you could ask Mimir for advice.
If I could ask Mimir for advice. You see, I actually feel that my journey has been very similar to his, because I always used to think I was the smartest man in the room, and I wasn't. And I caused a lot of mayhem and problems by doing that, by trying to persuade people or tell people, you know, what they should do. And I think that actually, rather than what I would ask him, what I recognize that, same as with Chris, that the journey that Mimir was on has been the journey that I've been on in my life, which is to stop telling people what to do and just experience the moment and let them. I think that the journey was, he starts off, he's trying to change the world. He's trying to control everything. And the best thing he ever does is to help this man and his son connect. And that's better, that, you know, me connecting with people is far better than me ever giving people advice, connecting with my family, my daughters. That's what I would say to him. Hey, you know, well done. And thanks for helping me do it too.
So one of the things that we've been incredibly grateful for as writers on God of War across all of the spectrum is how much of themselves all these wonderful people are willing to put into it. Danielle in particular, you went so deep on Freya and couldn't be more grateful. And her journey is one that's filled with lots of complex emotions, difficult choices. Can you talk a little bit about your approach there? And then I'm going to give you the opposite. If Danielle could give Freya some advice.
Wow, where to begin on that? You know, I didn't find her right away. Well, because I didn't know what video game I was auditioning for. I think if anyone has ever heard any of these interviews, I didn't realize until I was standing in front of the oil painting of the Greek Kratos where I actually had booked God of War, the video game. And so I never took any.
All right. Where
all power What is going on?
Bean!
Papa's Barbershop is a hub.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
I've...
Let's
Hope
go.
everybody has had a good February so far. I've
Besides, what if I...
Hey guys, looking for new beat-em-up games? Then you've come to the right place. We're starting the list with Tenet of the Spark, a cinematic action game that promises a rich narrative experience. Hey guys, looking for new beat-em-up games? Then you've come to the right place. We're starting the list with Tenet of the Spark, a cinematic action game that promises a rich narrative experience and a unique combat system. The game follows the story of Will, a former professional boxer who returns to his hometown to deal with his past and confront those seeking revenge or exploitation. The story of Tenet of the Spark revolves around Will's redemption. After a tragic event in the ring, he flees his hometown, leaving behind painful relationships and memories. Now he returns to try to repair the damage of the past and find his place in the world. The main mechanic is the ability to switch between three perspectives: Will, a Viking, and an Aztec warrior. The combat is similar to games like Sifu for its focus on martial arts and fluidity, while the narrative and aesthetics are reminiscent of Spider-Man for its visuals and dynamic transitions between worlds. Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds Ultimate is a complete remaster of the classic beat-em-up Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds, originally released in 2013. Developed and published by Rocket Panda Games, the game is being rebuilt from the ground up using Unreal Engine 5, promising enhanced visuals, refined gameplay mechanics, and a host of new features. The story takes place in Tokyo, where a mysterious man named Phantom seeks to recover his sealed powers. He grants weapons called FA, Few Mention Artifact, to talented young people, encouraging them to fight with the promise of granting their wishes to the winners. To make matters worse, Waka's younger sister Nagi is kidnapped by Phantom. Itsuki, who yearns to become a hero of justice, and Yuzuha, a ninja who escaped Phantom's seduction, also join the fight, and the four girls embark on a mission to find Phantom and save Nagi. Double Dragon Revive is a new beat-em-up game that promises to revive the iconic franchise from the 1980s. The game is being developed by Arc System Source, known for titles like Dragon Ball FighterZ and Ukes, which has experience in wrestling games like AEW Fight Forever. The Double Dragon series is known for its cooperative gameplay and intense combat, where players control the brothers Billy and Jimmy Lee, masters of martial arts, in a fight against street gangs to rescue loved ones. The series takes place in a post-apocalyptic urban setting and combines intense combat, improvised weapons, and cooperation. Unlike a simple button masher, the combat emphasizes strategy. Players need to learn enemy patterns, choose the right time to attack, and adapt their tactics. City of Rampage is a side-scrolling game set in a cyberpunk and dystopian environment. The game features hand-drawn graphics, an immersive soundtrack, and a rich story. Players can expect intense combat with challenging enemies and even more difficult bosses. The game is a classic beat-em-up, where players control a character and fight against hordes of enemies. The game features advanced combat mechanics that allow players to perform combos and special attacks. Hand-drawn art with a comic book-inspired aesthetic brings a vibrant and colorful look reminiscent of 90s games. The game focuses on intense combat against multiple enemies with advanced fighting mechanics that include punches, combos, dodges, like rolls, and special attacks. Yakuza 0, Director's Cut, is an enhanced version of the acclaimed Yakuza 0, which will be released exclusively for the Nintendo Switch 2. Spine is a single-player action game that focuses on close-range gunfights with the aesthetics of gun-fu movies. Developed and published by Neki, the game is set in a cyberpunk world and is scheduled to be released in late 2025 for PC via Steam, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. In Spine, players take on the role of Redline, a rebellious street artist equipped with a sentient combat implant called Spine. Together, they challenge an autocratic AI regime in search of Redline's captured brother. The narrative explores a dystopian near future, contrasting the utopian facade of the city controlled by the AI tensor. Rushing Beat X, Return of Brawl Brothers, is a new chapter in the classic beat-em-up series Rushing Beat, originally released by Jaleco for the Super Nintendo in the 1990s. Developed and published by City Connection, which acquired the rights from Jaleco, the game is scheduled to be released in 2025. Players can vary throws with different commands, including moves that launch enemies against the background, destroying objects and revealing items. Stages vary between urban locations like shopping malls, slums, subways, and research facilities, with side missions that offer additional challenges, such as objectives based on specific actions or stage gimmicks. Unlike the 2D sprites of the original game, Kyborg is a cyberpunk-themed roguelite beat-em-up developed by Sobaka Studio, which will be released on April 30th, 2025 for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC via Steam. The game puts players in the role of Morgan Lee, a prisoner unjustly sentenced to 1,300 years on a maximum security prison planet. His only chance of freedom is to participate in the entertainment program The Last Ticket.
Thank you for calling the Stick It to the
Stick It to the Stickman is a physics-based action and beat-em-up roguelike game developed by Free Lives and published by Devolver Digital. Axe of Blood is a third-person action game in the beat-em-up genre, developed and published by Excel Team, with a focus on fast, brutal, and visceral melee combat. The story revolves around Hendra, a law student who sees his life crumble when his family is murdered by his father's business rival. Abandoned by a corrupt legal system that protects the guilty, Hendra discovers that there is a powerful group behind the attack. Axe of Blood is centered on intense and dynamic combat, with a mix of melee attacks, firearms, and strategic movement mechanics. The player controls Hendra in linear levels, facing hordes of enemies and powerful bosses. While still in development, Axe of Blood has generated anticipation for its raw and direct approach to the beat-em-up genre.
It's been an extremely slow news cycle for Sonic the Hedgehog. People have been asking the question, is there a new Sonic game coming in 2025? Well, the answer to that is yes. There's actually 2 new Sonic games coming. Some of you may not consider Sonic Racing Cross Worlds or Sonic Rumble to be a Sonic game, but yes, these are Sonic games. But I guess the real question is, for some of the more traditional platformer fans, are we going to get a mainline style Sonic game? And I'm here to answer that question with some evidence today and discuss what I think Sega's plans are based off of some new information that's coming out within the Sonic franchise. Most notably, some really good numbers coming from Sega's end. In order to provide context to this discussion and also talk about some of the games that people think could be coming out, we need to do a little bit of backtracking. The hottest rumor for potential Sonic games that could be coming out is a potential Sonic Heroes remake. Just back in October, allegedly a third source has come out and said that yes, a Sonic Heroes remake is on the way. This rumor originally dates back to early 2024, and the alleged leaked codename for the project is called Project Guinness because Sonic Heroes holds the Guinness World Record for most playable characters in a game. As far as the credibility for this leak, now, you know me, I'm usually pretty skeptical about things like this. I believe dates back to like when Sonic Colors Ultimate came out, or like not too long after it. They're saying basically, so long as the game's selling well and the IP's doing good, we're going to consider more remakes, remasters, whatever. And we have more information that leads us to believe that this is still going to continue to be the case. Sonic and Shadow Generations was extremely successful. They just did Sonic Origins. They just did Sonic Colors. We're almost running out of Sonic games to remake, but Sonic Heroes may be that logical conclusion. Most people want the adventure games, but I think maybe we start with Sonic Heroes and see where we go from there. The question of whether or not this is true or not kind of remains to be seen, but this is kind of like the sentiment amongst the community, or like the hottest rumor. The other potential leak or rumor or whatever you want to call it dates back to when Sega just released a trademark for something called Sonic Blitz. There's next to nothing known about Sonic Blitz, but it definitely doesn't sound like merchandise or something like that. To me, Sonic Blitz kind of sounds like some type of game, maybe a fighting game, a spin-off, a mobile